everybody. Welcome to Anything That Moves. I'm Thomas. As you might have understood from the intro, we have traded our Alfa Romeo 159 for a almost new Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. If you had asked me 1 month ago that we would be owning this car right now, I would not have believed you. I have been mesmerized the last, I would say 3 or 4 years of the thought of owning an Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, but up until now it hasn't really been possible economically. I've been so completely lost for this for the Quadrifoglio that I've been like spending maybe latest year maybe about 2 hours a day on watching the same 5 to 10 ads of Giulia Quadrifoglios and watching YouTube clips on the Giulia Quadrifoglio. So what happened? So why didn't I buy a Giulia Quadrifoglio? Well, as the prices for the used ones here in Sweden are quite high, I had actually decided, okay, I won't buy one now. I will save a little bit more, and then I will order a new one for next summer. So I'd already decided to do that, and then we could decide later on whether we should keep the 159 or if we needed to trade it in. And there was something about how it looked, the color, the extra LED lights in the front, that just made it very attractive to me. I can say that I have said before that I will never buy an SUV, but now I'm sitting here. Okay, so what's my problem with SUVs? Well, one thing is that I thought that I wouldn't like it, because I like to fly low, so to speak. Now, after only 2 days, I can say that I'm more than happy with the. I used to be a bus driver for 7 years, full time. It's actually a little bit like driving a bus. It's quite big, compared to the 159. This is a big car, you cannot say anything else. I've already gotten used to it. I like it. You get completely different overview over the traffic. Now, so that first aspect of not wanting an SUV has, I think I've come over that already. But the other one is something that I think I'll never really get over, and I think I will just have to live with it. And that is, I don't really like what you signal with a car like this. It actually is too big. I mean, interior, you can get the same interior space with a station wagon. You're never gonna get as good fuel consumption in an SUV as in a station wagon or a sedan. That's let's face it. So that's one thing I don't really like. I don't like what you signal with that you don't carry, because I do carry. We had about a year ago or 10 months ago, we had solar panels installed on our house, more from environmental reason than from saving money, which will in the long run we will of course do, but it was more an environmental decision. So a little bit conflicted there, but what's the benefit I have now instead of if I had bought the Giulia? Well, I have to begin with, I have this wonderful panoramic roof that you cannot get with the Giulia because it's got the carbon fiber roof. So the Giulia's got the carbon fiber roof, so you cannot get that in combination with panoramic roof. And of course, the panoramic roof will higher the center of gravity somewhat, so which is negative for the road holding. Secondly, of course, you get all the practicality. I was actually looking for, when I was looking at the July, as I said, new one, or at least from the second half of 2018, because that's when they started with the foldable rear seats. I couldn't have one without it. But the good thing with this one is that we can have it for everything. We don't need to have two cars. You have a big boot. You have the four-wheel drive. It's very high. One thing that I was actually, which might have contributed to me buying this one, is when we were up north with the 159. The 159 is quite low. It's like it was the TI, so it's lowered 3 centimeters from factory, and that in combination with its quite a long overhang in the front, which this one obviously don't have, but that one had, made it quite prone to touching things, especially when you're up north. Sometimes you would go on gravel roads, etc. And it was just, I just felt shit. It's not really good. I bought it with 3,970 kilometers on the meter, so it's basically new. The previous owner had bought it in February this year, allegedly 61-year-old woman. So when she bought it, it was winter. There's a law of having winter tires here in Sweden in the winters. So she even had, I didn't even know they made studded tires of these dimensions, but she had studded tires. So of course I got the rims and the studded tires on the purchase, with the purchase, and then we can use it all year long. We don't need to have two cars, which is really great. Okay, enough talk. I'm on the way. We live a little bit north of Stockholm, and I'm on the way to another town a little bit further north to drive the car. It's like a kind of a nice trip just to go around with the car and get to know it a little bit. So I'm going around. I want to see what the fuel consumption is, because I've been a little bit shocked about the high fuel consumption, because I don't drive that hard. Of course, I've done a few accelerations, which I will do, of course, during the. you cannot have a car like this without sometimes at least accelerating a bit. But as I said, when you're out like this, you can be in advanced efficiency mode, and I really want to see what fuel consumption you can get down to. So I will do northbound. I'm going on this 70 kilometer an hour limited, or it's actually 80. I could go a little bit faster. Anyway, going a little bit slower road up, and then I'll take the motorway down. I basically go with the same speeds I would have done in my previous car. So I'll just see what, on a typical run, what my fuel consumption will end up on. Okay, and then on the screen, so I will return to you when I'm home. So I will give you the result, and I will convert it to American and British MPGs. How the fuck can there be different MPGs? Okay. On the way up on the slower road, I actually had a fuel consumption of 8.8 liters per 100 kilometers when I reached that point. Now, as soon as you get into this, town and start circling around. So when I left the town, I was up already at 9.3, and now after 25 minutes on motorway, not motorway anymore, but earlier on, about between 110 and 130 kilometers an hour, consumption has now come up to 10.1. So let's see. Alright, let's go to race mode then. What's nice, because I'm quite used to not using the brake so much, to use the engine brake a lot more. So that's nice when you're in a race mode or dynamic in automatic, because it's Alright, let's go. I wonder if the car gets confused when you change all these driving modes all the time. So now I'm back to advanced efficiency. So immediately, for one, I went from 10.1 liters per 100 kilometers average consumption. On one acceleration, I went up to 10.3. I mean, okay, fair enough. I've only driven 96 kilometers on this cycle, but still, it's quite a lot. If you want to see these accelerations, you can go to any other YouTube clip with the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. So that's not why I'm here, but I want to more give you the owner experience in general, and I'm not really a hard driver. Okay, so in driving like this, I usually turn off the in any car that has the start-stop system, I turn off the start-stop, because if you stop, you never stop that long that it would make any sense whatsoever, because it actually takes some fuel to start up the engine again, right? To start up the engine. It's too early for me to talk about what different modes to have at different times, but there's actually I've seen a lot of people saying, well, if you can afford a car like this, you don't care about the fuel cost. Well, you might have an environmental consciousness, so you want to keep the fuel consumption low because of that, or you're not a millionaire. We've got the car on an 8-year financing scheme. So, and for sure, I mean, it's not that we're eating, have to eat noodles to have this car, but still, it's not we're not made of money. In race mode, you cannot go around in the race mode and just trying to drive smoothly. You know, race mode is really if you want to go fast. But it's got a really nice sound in it. We're all different. We all have different reasons to why we choose a car. So I don't really know what my reason is. Reason is that, you know, when I fucking really wanted this car. And when you drive in advanced efficiency or natural, it's really comfortable. It's really smooth. You know, the gear changing and everything. So everything is so smooth. Okay, so consumption 10.4 liters per 100 kilometers. I'm sure if we had done a longer stretch without this traffic and like town traffic, I would have been able to get it below 10 liters per 100 kilometers. But I think 10 liters per 100 kilometers, that would be kind of realistic as an average. Let's see. Let's see what the future holds. So, we are making a road trip around Lake Mälaren yesterday and today, and the average consumption is exactly 10.0 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's pretty acceptable. All right.
Nyt tässä on niinku race-moodi päälläkin.
Vänta lite grann så att den här får lite försprång.